What we do here is go back.
And there we go, we should be live, hopefully. In theory, we should be all good. Please let me know in the chat if you can actually see me and or hear me. It is currently 14:39 on the 13th, lucky for some, of June 2023. I'm Mike, this is Mike's Unboxing Reviews and How To. Over there in the hot seat taking your messages and hopefully relaying them is Kath, she's giving you all a wave. This is going to be a weird one. We don't normally do...
Unlucky for Sam, unlucky for George.
Yeah, unlucky for George, yeah. We don't normally do daytime streams because, well, we're normally filming videos or doing something else or just planning, prepping, all that kind of usual stuff, filming, whatever. But unfortunately for our son, this is his PC, if you haven't realised already, and from obviously the title of the stream, there was a little bit of water damage to it. Now, we've got some rather elderly cats, one of which actually likes sleeping on top of the PC. And you know what cats like, they do like sleeping on top of PCs, it is definitely a thing. Unfortunately, in the middle of the night, it would appear that our elderly cat decided it would also make a reasonable kitty litter. So there may have been a little accident. Now, George said he could hear it in the middle of the night. Apparently didn't get up to check it at the point, and very early this morning he came into our room and explained what had happened. So I had a bit of a rude awakening first thing this morning after going to bed quite late, and it's very warm here in the UK. Not that I'm complaining, it's quite nice, but when it's warm you haven't had a particularly good night's sleep, and then you get woken up early with the knowledge that your PC or a PC in your household has potentially been water damaged. When I say water, you know what I mean. It's not water, clearly. It's some other fluid from a feline friend. So I thought, right, I've got to clean it. Not looking forward to it. How can I make it somewhat more enjoyable? Cleaning PCs actually is quite a therapeutic thing, and it's something you should try to do on a reasonably regular basis. So I thought, well, I'll try and combine something what I do enjoy, such as live streaming and also cleaning PCs. And I thought I'd take you guys and girls along for the ride. So that is basically the premise for this stream.
Say the P word, Mike.
It's a daytime show. I can't say the piss word. Oh, damn it. Done it. So let's do some quick housekeeping, make sure that everything's working, etc. before we start on this. So I've got my box of cleaning equipment. I've got some microfibers. Just that I've shot there is a bowl of sort of mild, warm, slightly soapy water, which will be used to kind of get rid of most of it. You can see the PC is pretty grubby. To be honest with you, George is a swine. He doesn't clean stuff very well, if at all. It's kind of very... I'm not going to get into it. Let's just make sure that everything is working. So let me grab the PC a minute, and I will put this down so I can actually see what is on the other screen, whilst trying not to actually get myself dirty at the same time. Okay, so let's have a look in the chat, make sure that everything is working as intended. Deathstroke says my eldest daughter's birthday. I told you I'm not really set up for this at all today. 18 years old. How did that happen? Yeah, time does fly. But yep, hopefully it's all working. A stream about a stream. Yeah, you're absolutely right there. So let's see if the other cameras are working. We'll just double check on that. So I've currently got the overhead camera. There you go. And you can have a quick look in the cleaning box there. Some things that I generally use on a kind of almost daily basis for keeping all this stuff nice and clean and tidy. So we'll put that to one side for now, but yeah, hopefully that is okay and relatively in focus, and you can actually hear me. So if you can hear me with the overhead, if you could kindly let me know in the chat, that would be absolutely fantastic. I'm just keeping an eye on the chat here. There is going to be a delay, so I'm not going to get the information straight away. But if someone could let me, yes, can hear. Excellent. Thank you very much for that. And also we'll go to the webcams feed, which is, we're using again, this is the OBSBOT camera. Actually, let me change that. So we'll go to, get rid of that, and it should just go to normal tracking. So track me. There we go. That seems to be working, and hopefully you can hear me as well at the same time. Let me know in the chat if you can hear. So this is going to be tracking me. So I thought this would be a good idea because the OBSBOT camera is it's actually a very flexible camera, and it does lots of things. And one thing it does is actually you can get it to track your hands. So when I'm actually cleaning this, when I'm doing things, scrubbing away, etc., then it should follow my hands to whatever I'm doing. So saves actually someone having to do anything with the camera. It should all be done. So whatever I'm doing, you should be able to see. So if you could let me know that you can hear me with the webcam, that would be awesome. Thank you. Yes, Kath.
Bobby C.
Bobby C. What would you do for a PC that got rained on for hours during a hurricane? In that situation, I would probably take everything apart and leave it somewhere reasonably warm for a while. Ideally, if you can, somewhere in a room which has got air conditioning on, because air conditioning will absorb moisture. It's not great for people. Obviously, if you've been in an air-conditioned office, you know, it's like you're always trying to drink. And yeah, that is pretty much what I would do. Strip it down. Try to shake off as much of the fluids that you can do. That's generally going to be a good way to start. Sorry, click on that. And there we go. Yeah, so ideally what you want is a little bit of warmth, something to remove moisture. Obviously, if you can, get a microfiber cloth. If it's absolutely soaking wet, the best thing with a microfiber cloth is they're not terribly absorbent when they're actually kind of, well, when they're brand new, they're fine, but after they've been used a couple of times and washed, they tend to lose their initial absorbency. And actually, I can probably demonstrate that now. So if I spray on here, now, typically that's soaked straight in, but generally with some microfibers, if you do spray on them, they will kind of, no, it's not working, typical. They will bead a little bit, so the water won't absorb in there, so you're kind of pushing the water around. So you probably want to either, again, get some warm or mildly warm soapy water. It doesn't have to be a lot of soap, just a tiny little bit, just to break the surface tension. Put your microfibers in there and then just wring them out as much as you can. So they've got a little bit of moisture in them, but they're not completely bone dry. You'll find that's really good, and if you wipe that around any sort of really kind of sodden, damp surfaces, it will pick up the things very easily. And there you go, there is our magical doorbell, which hopefully is one of my graphics cards either being collected or being delivered. I'm hoping it's delivered. I've actually ordered a Intel Arc A770 to replace my A750, which actually failed or was in the verge of failing. So I actually got a really good deal, £250 for the Arc A750, the Intel one, and sent it back, and I actually managed to buy the ASRock A770 for basically the same money. A little bit more for shipping, because I paid £5 for same-day shipping. Ordered it from eBuyer here in the UK, ebuyer.com I believe it is. Fantastic site, lots of cheap stuff, not affiliated, not sponsored in any way, shape or form, but if Amazon hasn't got something, then eBuyer is always actually a good option, but for some reason they keep on getting banned off of UK hot deals, so you don't often see the stuff they've got, but certainly worth checking out. So there you go.
Do you want to show this?
Yeah, go on in. Yeah, has it got any dodgy labels on it? Oh no, that's absolutely fine. Bloody hell, that's a big box, he says.
King size bed for the cat.
So there we go. There is the new graphics card, the Intel Arc A770 from ASRock. This is the Phantom gaming version. Yeah, looking forward to actually using that. It's a triple fan card as well, so should be pretty decent for cooling. Whereas the A750 was only a dual cooler or dual fan setup. So there will obviously be an unboxing and a review of this coming soon. You're probably asking, if you're not interested in the cleaning part of this and you're just in for the ride, you're probably thinking, Mike, why have you bought an A770? Now the reason is, A770s and A750s for that matter, in Adobe Premiere are fantastic on the timeline. So if you spend a lot of time actually on the timeline editing clips and trolling through, this is actually probably around the same performance levels as a 4060 Ti, 3070, that kind of level. In terms of playback, in terms of actually rendering the final output, not quite as good, and the quality, if you look at it close, it isn't quite as good. But hopefully when they add AV1 encoding to Adobe Premiere and AV1 decoding and encoding, these cards are going to fly because they've got full AV1 support. So anyway, that's why I got it. It was relatively cheap and cheerful, and currently my Radeon RX 6900 XT, which actually was slower in Premiere than the A750 for some bizarre reason, that's actually gone back for repair also, so I was kind of graphics cardless. Anyway, let's get on with it. Ladioff says 8 gigs of RAM. It's 8 gigs of VRAM. It doesn't make a great deal of difference. In video editing, especially 4K video editing, it doesn't make a great deal of difference. And with the optimizations they've made, it actually does a reasonably good job. Would have loved to have a 16 gig version, but it's 250 quid, what can you say? Anyway, so that is all working, we're all good. So let's get on and actually, let's break this thing down and see what is going on. So let's take a look at the PC and see if there's any obvious signs of water damage at present. I've had a very quick look. I did get George to kind of mop it up a little bit this morning with just some paper towels, just to see what was going on. So let's take this side panel off to begin with. God, look at the filth on that. That is disgusting. So it's a good job we're cleaning this, because I think it needs it anyway. Let's put that to one side.
We say to Andy the cat seems okay. So I think it's a territorial thing.
The cat seems fine, yeah. She's slightly elderly.
And our boy cat likes to bully her.
So the thing we've got going on here is already, I'm not sure how well you guys and girls can actually see this, but it appears there is some signs of moisture on the bottom of this AIO fan. Potentially there's some on the graphics card as well, which I'm hoping hasn't gone into the power supply connection. And inside here, you can see there's definitely some discoloration. There's a little bit of fluid on there. Yeah, I'm not sure how well you can actually pick that up. Let me turn it around. Thank you for the super chat, by the way, whoever that was. Andy Archer, £2. Thank you very much. Some biscuits for the kittens. Thank you very much. So let's put this onto the webcam mode. And we'll go into hand. And there we go. Is it hello, McFly? There we go.
I'm nearly in it.
Is that picking up anything at all? I can't actually see the output on the screen at the moment.
I don't know where. I don't think so.
Right. So. Right. Maybe it needs to see my face and my hands at the same time.
It does.
So. There we go. So just in here, you can see there's definitely signs of something. So that's not great. And actually on here, if I get the torch, if that's going to show up any reflections, or I'm not sure if that's actually helpful at all. But yeah, this is basically filthy. There is, for me personally, I can see a little bit better. The fans, it looks like the radiator is definitely going to need to come out. I don't really want to take too much of it apart, but we may well have to. And potentially, I should say as well, we may not actually get to the point where we turn this back on, because if it's going to have to come out and it's all going to be damp, etc., then we probably won't get to do the final thing where we actually turn it all on. So just so you're aware of that, it might get to the point where we can't do that.
You need an ultraviolet torch. Ooh.
Oh dear. That would be awful. Right, let's go back to the main camera and let's get on with this. Oh dear, another doorbell rings.
Now you can see why we do it later in the day.
Yeah, it's like this most of the time here in the daytime. I'm getting sweat on already. Right, let's take the front panel off, because we can get rid of that, and that again is going to be yeah, pretty grubby. It doesn't look like the front is actually affected, so we should be pretty good there. And yeah, George's gross filter there, so we're probably going to have to get the vacuum on that, give that a little bit of a vacuum. We'll definitely take care of that. There's things like this, like dust along the side. You see that just wipes off, and it's just, yeah, it's not great. Ah, power supply. Where do we start? Right, this is the top section. So this, I think, looks actually pretty dry. Yeah, that is actually bone dry, but what I'm going to do is I've got the bowl of water here. So let's stick that in anyway. Doesn't seem to be a great deal of dust on that. So I've got to try. Jesus, that's heavier than I thought it was going to be.
Oh, I struggled in with it.
Thanks, Kath. So we'll start off with this. This is just plain soapy water. Just going to dip that in there. And actually, let's get the we get the painter's brush. Got a painter's brush, and you can just go ahead and give that a little bit of a scrub. And what I'll probably do is get Kath to rinse this underneath the cold tap in the kitchen, and then just leave this outside to dry off. But the
message. How is the PC?
Oh, right. Tell him to stick his internet on and you can find out.
I told him.
I don't think it's going to be too bad. I think it's going to be alright to be able to turn it on, but it's going to want a bit of a strip down.
Pop the GPU out in sunlight now, that'll dry it.
Yeah, that's probably not a bad idea actually. So I'm going to put that there. So there we go, Kath, if you wouldn't mind just...
I have a microfiber to put on the bottom of it, otherwise it's going to drip everywhere.
There you go. Thanking you. Brilliant stuff. And let's do the front panel. That is probably going to be fine just with a quick vacuum. So let's grab the vacuum, which is over on the wall. Get the right attachment on it. And we can just give that a quick blast. There we go, that's fine. Might give that a wash over actually, because there is some, you can see it's definitely a bit stained. I'm not sure how well it's coming out on the camera, or whether or not that's just where there's a difference in, yeah, I'll sod it. We got rid of most of the dirt. Could have done with bleach really. Don't be afraid to get your hands in and just, because we're not using like overly harsh chemicals here, it's fine to get your hands in there and do what you need to do.
That is an actual light washing up liquid.
Oh, is it? This is eco-friendly, semi-natural, or it is natural, isn't it?
I don't think it's fully natural.
Right, is that the microfiber there?
Yeah.
Thank you. So we'll start off with that. There we go. Thank you very much. You'll swap. That's what we're using. Eco washing up liquid with rhubarb and lemon. It does actually smell quite nice. It makes me want to eat.
I could do a nice rhubarb and lemon cheesecake. That's dry.
Yeah, it's dry, please. Do you want the microfiber?
No, I'll leave it in the window.
Yeah, it's got quite a lot of water on it still. Right. Yeah, I think let's get the graphics card out first of all, because I'm slightly concerned that if we do start moving the AIO, if there's any trapped moisture, for want of a better word, we're going to end up actually kind of pouring more down. So let's take the graphics card out. Oh, it does smell a bit actually. It ain't pleasant, it really isn't. Ugh. Let's get a paper towel before I start touching that too much. Thanks Ugly Bob for the paper towels. I'll take that out. Oh yeah, there was still a little bubble there. What we call in the trade a little piss bubble. Give that a little wipe over. Oh man, that is filthy. Actually, that looks more like oil. It doesn't smell like oil.
I reckon it's vape juice.
That's horrid. Yeah. If it's vape juice, I'm going to be upset. Right, so let's get the graphics card out, and you can see that is that's pretty horrible. Although luckily, because the backplate is pretty solid, I'm very, very confident that there's not going to be anything actually inside the GPU. So actually having a backplate on there has probably potentially saved the day.
And the actor asked, was it on at the time?
No, because it was whilst he was sleeping. So we generally here turn off the PCs at night just to avoid basically any, well, first of all, I suppose a waste of electricity.
To be shouted at by me.
And yeah, because I get shouted at. You've left the bloody stuff on! So this is what I was saying about the microfiber. So I'm going to get the microfiber, dipped it in the... Oh crap. It's gone everywhere. I should have done this outside in the garden.
They could see me.
Why?
Where was I?
Don't worry. They're fine. They won't call the police. So just give that a wipe over now. This is going to be fine because it's literally just damp. So that's going to clean up that. Get a wipe over. Really, to be honest with you, the card probably could do with actually having a complete strip down and repaste. But I think that's a little bit outside of the scope of what we're trying to do here today.
Just stick the Intel GPU in, Mike.
No. The graphics card, if you're not sure, is a GeForce GTX 1080 Founders Edition. Picked this up actually a while back from actually a local seller, and I bought a bunch of 1070s, a 1080, and a couple of 1060s. It was from an office clear out they were having, and
Captain
yeah, it's
Robbie
done
has
right.
posted the deal you got for the A770 on Hot UK Deals.
Bless you, sir.
And Andre says, air blower, air dryer will work absolutely fine to dry it. Unfortunately, I had to do the same to my PC back in January.
Right. So now we've got the inside. I'm not too sure. Those look okay. If you're not sure if something's wet or not, just put it onto a paper towel and you should see basically damp spots. I think that looks, actually, no, there is a little bit there, I think, in between.
GPU needs a real clean and a new thermal paste.
The GPU does need a real clean and new thermal paste, you're absolutely right.
Defo put the GPU out in the sun, but the cat is out in the sun too.
Yeah, the cat's out there and might get a little smell for it. Ooh. Okay, so now you can see inside the PC. It's pretty grim, and we've got a little bit of kind of fluid there. It looks like there's a drive cage underneath there, so we'll probably need to take that as well. So we'll get the damp cloth again and just wipe off the remainders. This is our son's PC. It's definitely not one of mine, because if it was one of mine, it would not be in this state. It really wouldn't.
Well, you've got to be polite. PC is Mike's son's. It got tap water on it. And it definitely wasn't Poppy Dora.
No, I don't think Poppy was in at the time.
I think she was. She slept next to me in bed last night.
Oh, this is disgusting. Right, that's the bulk of it done anyway.
Do you want me to put the GPU out in the sun?
Yeah, go on then.
Where should I put it? Just
Um,
on the bunker?
yeah, it should be alright.
Is it in the sun?
I suppose the ultraviolet light will actually be pretty helpful anyway.
Where is it?
It's just here. Thank you.
Like just place it like that, as safe.
Yes, fine, yeah. Bit of dust down here. No PP, fortunately. And this brush is a little bit damp anyway, so that's going to pick up most of it. Ideally, if it wasn't for the fact that George needs his PC, I would have actually probably taken the whole thing apart and literally just kind of jet washed it. But that is a little bit, again, more than what I needed to do at present. And we'll give the slot and that a wipe over. It's just dust in here, but the motherboard itself is actually completely coated in basically vape residue. The motherboard is a MSI B350, so that gives you an idea of how old it is, and it's one of their Pro Mate range, sorry, PC Mate range, which was one of the first AM4 boards actually on the market. And actually, it's done pretty well. It's got to be, what, 2017 they came out, so it's a good 5-6 years old. So yeah, it's done all right. So I think next is probably, those fans are disgusting, so I kind of want to take those out anyway. Are they going to be blocking anything on the other side is the question. I don't know. Or do we loosen off the... Actually, let's open up the back. So we've got access to the wire, because we're going to need to pull some cables through. And we'll check as well to make sure there's no other cable nightmares going on down here. Is what?
Have you seen Poppy Door today?
Yeah, we have, yeah. I'm just checking there to see if there's any fluid which has actually come through. I'm looking at the top of the drive cage, which is actually pretty easy to get to. Well, if it wasn't for all this bloody wiring. And it does appear to be... It looks like it's bone dry. So I think we'll probably be okay leaving that. There's some cable ties here for the... Actually, what is that cable ties for? That is going to be for removing the AIO, which we're definitely going to have to take the AIO out, because that has potentially got fluid in it. So that's piss. It's definitely got piss in it.
Put alcohol in spray bottle and douse, then air dryer.
That would probably do quite a good job, but I don't know whether or not that would be sufficient, to be honest. I think it's going to have to come out anyway. So what have we got here?
James says open top PCs are a nightmare waiting to happen.
Yeah, it's nice that you've got an open top PC so that you can actually move things around, but as soon as actually anything gets in it, it's a real pain. So I'm going to take out the screws a minute, and let's get the other camera on. What's that one doing? I've got a yellow light on the other camera. That's probably not so good. What's it doing? Standard tracking. Normal tracking, there we go. So let's go back over to the webcam so you can see what I'm actually doing. So I'm just going to take the screws out of the AIO here. So we can drop that down a bit.
Matthew Day says you need an ultrasonic tank cleaner.
A what? Sorry, an ultrasonic tub cleaner?
Tank.
Oh yeah. It definitely needs something. Well, I say fortunately. Recently, George has been vaping out his window. I think most of the problems with this came, or originally started, because
Put some tissues in underneath.
he was vaping like crazy. And
You're going to start singing then.
yeah, let's put that. That's the damp cloth.
Does this actual PC have that smell associated with an accident?
No, it smells of like
Vape.
various different flavours of vape juice, yeah. Which is actually quite fortunate. Saying about putting the alcohol spray bottle and then douse air dryer, I think that would have actually been a good idea, but the alcohol spray is pretty toxic. If I was doing it outside, oh, I've lost a screw there. So I'll let you guys see what is, oh, that's wet on the side of there. Or at least, where's that screw gone? Because I just dropped a screw. There we go.
On the end of your screwdriver?
No. Oh, there it is on the, it's on the microfiber. So, wash my hand off a minute. paper towel that side. That's the trouble now, because there was like vape juice in there. You never know what is vape juice and what isn't.
Vaping in your PC is terrible.
Yeah, I agree.
Just put the same, vaping and smoking is very bad for PCs with spinning fans.
Yeah, I am very much in agreement. So actually, oh man, right. It's a good job I did do that, or lean it off to the side there, not inside the PC. So it looks like the AIO oh god, it's dripping down there as well. Right, I need to disconnect this entirely, or get some more wires coming through. Right, stay there and please try not to drip too much. Ugh. This is genuinely quite grim.
Nanang, I don't know if I've said that right. Highbrow does 450 watt PSU, enough for 3050.
Yeah, should be fine. Well, it depends what the processor you're using, like all RGB stuff. But yeah, I think that's probably not a million miles off. If you think about your total TDP of a processor, or at least run Cinebench and see what it draws under all core load, and then attach, then add on what the graphics card is likely to pull, and that should give you a pretty decent idea of what you need.
Captain Robius wants that case to be renamed to the Cat Toilet 2.0.
Yeah, it's probably not a bad idea. Right, what have we got here? RGB, that should be those done, so that's fine. Could do with some way of attaching those at the top really, but still, is what it is.
Do you want to borrow one of my pink cable ties?
No, I'm alright, thanks.
Let me borrow it.
Right, let's put you back onto the main camera.
Facebook advert, PC for sale, only peed once.
Yeah. Oh dear. I'm not sure if this AIO is going to be end of life, possibly. Depends how badly damaged it is in terms of the fans, because the thing is, there's only so much you can do with the fans because of those sealed fluid bearings, which probably are not going to be great. Let's take the CPU head off, or the cooling pump head off. This is actually probably worth doing anyway, because the
I'd replace the AIO with an air cooler for now, Mike.
I am tempted to.
Did you sunburn your head?
I sunburn everything.
But you've got
Not really burnt. I
discoloration
just
on your head, haven't you?
yeah, I've got like some
Tiger bread head.
tiger bread head skin damage. Right, what does that do there? I think that's just a SATA cable, so that should loosen that off.
Nanang
Yes.
5600 non-X 3050 EVGA 450 watt with 5 Molex fan RGB.
Yeah, that should be okay. I think you're all right there. Right, that is the AIO disconnected. That paste has actually dried right up.
Do you think AIOs are worth it, Mike, or good old convection good enough?
Personally, it depends. Well, yeah, it depends a lot on the processor you've got. So a lot of the newer processors, they just turbo super high, super quick. So if you don't have an AIO which can absorb that kind of heat load quite quickly, it is going to be kind of, you're going to be finding your fans are going to be ramping up all the time, because the CPUs are going to want to hit kind of 95C, because that's their like thermal limit, or what they're designed to do.
And Welly Bob asked what CPU is in the PC. Let's hope you get there.
The CPU is the Ryzen 7 2700X, I believe. So it's quite an, I dare say, an elderly PC by modern standards.
And AIO might have saved the day in this situ.
I think actually, yeah, the AIO actually has done a
Fantastic job at collecting.
a pretty good job, yeah. I'm going to dump the screws and stuff, I think,
Let's
straight in
replace all
there.
our microfibers with AIOs.
It's not a bad idea.
Much more absorbent.
So yeah, I think the fans might be toast. I'm not sure.
Anthony says thanks for answering about the AIOs.
Thank you, Anthony. Thank you for the question, and thank you for joining us on this stream on this absolutely red hot day. Was it like 3 o'clock or something? And it's quarter past three, and it's absolutely baking. Currently in this room, it is. Oh, I can't. I stuck that on there, didn't I? I think it's about 28 degrees, 27 degrees, and there's no AC and there's no airflow. So I am melting a bit. So I might sleep in the garden tonight.
But we're doing it in natural light.
Yeah, this is natural light to keep the studio lights temperature down.
Cooler.
Oh man,
Anthony just woke up for work, 10 AM.
that is pretty grim. Right, there isn't really a particularly good way of cleaning these fans, although fortunately the RGB is in the center hub, so I can kind of dip these a bit, but yeah, they are.
Dust City.
Right, that one is at least dry. That's a start. This one, not so much. Oh god, yeah, that's gone right in there. That might be toast. This
Alcohol spray fans put out in the sun.
I don't actually have alcohol spray, which is slightly annoying. I have got alcohol, but not in a spray form.
But will that bottle take a spray lid?
Yeah,
We might have
should
one.
do.
Actually, do you want to use my MMS cleaner? 'Cause that's
Yeah, go on then. I'll give it a go. I don't think it'll
kiddie.
kick. I don't think,
Actually, it might melt things.
yeah.
Let me see if I've got a spare spray nozzle.
Alright, I'm going to put that on there. Stay. Let's move that out of the way, get some more room in here. Actually, what have I got here? Brake cleaner. No, that's probably a bit too aggressive to do that. No?
No.
Okay, no worries.
We might get me one.
Right, the AIO. I think the AIO is going to have to be submerged. Which is ironic, really. But that is pretty grim. So I'm going to chuck the whole thing in here. And let's get the
Freedom House, yeah, it was
the
fine
brush on.
anyway. Kitty had enough.
la 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 la.
Did you get in with it?
Yeah, I could do with a pad. Actually, it's just gone over a bit cloudy now. So the temperature has dropped a little.
William, can dip the fan in the water with power on to clean it?
Oh god, no, that would just go
See how
everywhere.
bubbly that washing up liquid gets.
Yeah.
Probably not now, 'cause you put dirty stuff in it.
So, yeah, this is doing all right actually. I think this might be okay.
The letter has a Ryzen 5900X scheduled to arrive today, so new PC build starts tomorrow.
Oh, lovely job. I think that has got rid of almost all of the gunk actually. That's pretty good. I'm going to dip the cables in a bit as well just to make sure. This is probably going to need to be left to dry. I will end up, I think, putting an air cooler in here temporarily until this dries off. And thank you for the super chat, Ugly Bob. I'm on a ferry. Toot toot. No cats pissing on computers, but I saw a bird shit on a granny. Excellent. I'll tell you what, the actual weight of this has dramatically increased. Wouldn't it be terrible if you saw your AIO doing that and you hadn't just dunked it in water? I can almost see through that, so that's good. We might end up having to replace those fans, I think, which I'm actually pretty sure I've got another set here. Not from that same kit. Ah, and they're 4-pin. I've only got 3-pin.
Nokia ringtone Arabic says we had brutal weather in Berlin last week. Today it's actually quite pleasant at 23C.
Oh, nice. 23 is a good temp. Right, Kath, can I give you this to put outside, please?
Got a microfiber.
Yeah. If I'll give you this one.
I don't even know where I am.
There we go. Got it.
Yeah.
Awesome
How
stuff.
do I lie it?
If you can, get it to lie so it's kind of upright but on a slight angle so the
So
water
like it
comes
is
into
now?
one corner. Yeah. Like, yeah, so one corner is lower than everything else. That should try and wick it out a bit. Okay. So, oh, I need another microfiber now. So we're going to dunk this in. And we're going to give the top a wipe over now. Make sure that it is clean and underneath as well. I think really it probably could do with a complete strip down and take the board out. I'm tempted to do it. What do you think? Do you think I should take the motherboard out and give it a proper clean? Let me know what you think in the comments whilst I'm cleaning up the top and the bottom. Although if I take the motherboard out, that's going to mean a bit longer for George before he can get his hands back on it, I suppose. But then saying that, I think there's going to be that case anyway. Grim. What are people saying? I would. Ted McGee says, I had no idea, no clue you could dunk that type of stuff in the water. Well, actually, with the AIO, because there's no actual electrics in the radiator part itself, all of the electrics are actually in the pump head, which normally sits on the CPU. So it's okay. There are going to be some which actually have pumps integrated in the radiator. When you've got one of those, then you probably won't want to do that. Although I don't think it'll do too much harm because it should be sealed, but I'm not sure if the motor would be, so I'd probably advise against it. Actually, I think this would be easier to do if it was completely disassembled, wouldn't it? Because those fans are going to need to come out. And also, yeah, I might as well take the board out. Because we don't know if anything works anyway, because we've not turned it back on. Because that's something which you probably should not do.
Check the RAM slots. Mike, no, hope nothing wet got in.
No, they look bone dry. Well, apart from my fingerprints on them now. I'm not entirely sure. There are some marks on there, but I'm pretty sure those are going to be from vape rather than something less nice. Not that vape is nice, but...
When Bob says, often taking out Mobo causes issues just because either go all in or not, right?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, somebody was reading that on
Actually.
Super Chat.
Where's the alcohol? There.
Utopia said, good day, I watched your electric air duster review the other day. Have you still got one?
Yes, still got the electric air duster. And to be honest, I was tempted to use that for this, but in hindsight, air dusters have a tendency to move dust and stuff around. So it could actually make things considerably worse. Actually, it looks like there's water in the motor there. I think these fans have had a, I hate to say it, but I think they have. Right, here we go.
What's the vacuum blower thingy you got? I assume that's the vacuum.
Sorry fans, but worst case scenario, if we lose the fans and the fans only, it's going to be a pretty decent result, I feel. So I'll let those soak for a
This
bit.
one should have been fixed or fail.
This should have been a fix or fail. You're absolutely right. I was
Maybe we
thinking of that. Yeah. As soon as I finish the stream, I'll rename it. Speaking of fix or fail, we have got another fix or fail coming up in the foreseeable near future.
We're actually going to pee tonight then.
Yeah. Glenn from our Discord and long-time member of the channel, one of his friends actually lives in Bristol and they've got a dying or dead PC which needs to be looked at, which I was going to do a little bit earlier, but because of kind of change of circumstances and stuff, then we've never quite got around to doing it. So that one, unfortunately, has slipped, which it shouldn't have done really. I should have got onto that because Glenn's been pretty good to us. And to try and help out someone else is a good thing generally.
Did you hear me say? Drowsy asked, where are we? What's the vacuum blower thing you got?
The vacuum, oh well, that one,
I
that's,
assume it's that one.
I've got the Tinaco vacuum, which is the, our just basically our household vacuum, which is like a little portable battery powered. Or we've got the, I can't think of the brand, I think it's CompuCleaner, is the air blower that Ugly Bob kindly sent to us.
And Yate Computing says, yo Mike, what's that?
Hey dude, how you doing? Hopefully, going to try and clean this board up a little bit and get rid of some of this vape juice which is on there.
Chris Hartford says, what's the verdict?
The verdict at the moment, I honestly don't know. I'm thinking we're going to be okay.
Hoping. My son doesn't take
The thing
bad
is,
news too well.
yeah, fortunately, like George has been at the point where he's actually saved up his money to do an upgrade, and he was going to upgrade anyway, but he wasn't sure when or what, and sometimes these things kind of force your hand a little bit. So it's potentially it's not all bad.
Bandy says, Mike and Kath live on a weekday, whatever next. Long live these people.
Yes. Well, we are planning to live a while. For the foreseeable anyway.
Not fix or flop, PC-DC, stroke PC-Weecy.
PC-Weezy. I know, this, the stream should have the title, I've had a pissing gutsful.
Welly Bob's sags. Cover that ultra-wide monitor, cat motor will absolutely ruin that. That is shutting the living room away from her.
Yeah.
Although the other night I did shut her in the living room to stop her going in by accident.
Right, that is looking considerably better. Those front fans aren't... Ironically, the front fans are probably absolutely fine, but... Oh crap, I just spilled alcohol all over the desk. Oh well, it's a cleanser. Sort of. Smells right.
Ted says, so did this cat use the top of the case as a litter box?
Yes.
That's the story here.
Yes, effectively, yeah. Right, these fans have been submerged for a little while now, so we can probably give them a clean. These are probably going to want to go out inside in the sun as well, just to bake off any
That's
moisture.
interesting, isn't it? Letter says, in my experience, female cats won't use a litter box if a male cat uses it first. And I think it is a territorial thing with her and Flame, isn't it?
Yeah.
Maybe we'll use it after Flame, but she is his mum, so it's probably a bit different.
If these fans work properly after this, I'll be amazed.
Question, no power to the fans?
Not at the moment. What I want to do, because the fans are filthy anyway, because they were still caked in vape dust and dirt, so at least now, for all intents and purposes, they're actually clean.
Captain Robius wants Mike's fan jacuzzi washing up bowl in the merch store.
Bearings sound okay. Yeah, that's not a bad idea. Right, Kath, can I ask you to put that one in the out in the sun as well, please? I can see what's going to happen now. George's going to get home and he's going to be like, my PC's not working. I need to buy stuff. And it'll be straight on Amazon. Actually, he probably won't. It'll be on his phone.
Your big dad.
Yeah, be like, can I borrow a computer? If you can, do that so it's fans facing down, so the sun gets to the motor bit on the back.
Where's that? So like facing like that?
Yes, please,
Like
yeah.
that?
Yeah. So we're going to do it face up to start with. So hopefully the sun, being that it's actually very strong sun out there at the moment, it will burn off the moisture which is in the back of the motor hub. I'm almost 100% sure that the motor hub is sealed, like partly from the sticker itself which covers it up, but there's also normally like a rubber gasket in there as well which seals the electrics. So that should, in theory, be okay. And actually just leaving the fans in this water for a little while has got rid of, I would say, almost all of the vape crap. Which is good. Anyway, guys and girls, hopefully you're enjoying your Tuesday, hanging out with the Mubsters. If this is your first time here and you're wondering what the hell is going on, don't worry, you're not alone. I'm thinking the same thing myself.
Ducker's just said, just got in, what happened? So carry on.
There's Ducker, how you doing? So yeah, if you're new here and you're not sure what this channel is all about, we do things a little bit differently here. Now, a lot of people, obviously setting up YouTube channels, etc., there's almost like that tried and tested format where you go out and buy a ton of IKEA furniture and you have your multicolored lights, generally a blue one in one corner, a mauve or purple one in another, possibly a green one as well as a backlight. There's that tried and tested formula and the kind of review styles and benchmarks and all that kind of stuff. And we basically don't really go in for that kind of stuff. This is more your kind of real worldy stuff, a little bit different than the rest of the mainstream. So yeah, we do things a little bit different. Possibly we do things wrong, possibly we do things that are could be done better, but we learn as we go along, and we take you lot along for the ride as well, which is it's kind of fun. Now that looks pretty decent. Sorry, Gav, can you stick that one out as well, please? And can you?
That way up, yeah?
Yes, please, yeah.
That way up or the other way up?
Actually, for that one, I don't think it makes much difference. It's probably going to bake it anyway. Now, the front fans are pretty awful. So let's take a look at the front fans. And actually, let's clear up some of this desk. Ugh. How does he let his PC get like this? I blame the parents. Oh, wait. No, that's me. How does that come out of there? Oh, there's a screw in there on the bottom. So I think the fans are going to need to come out anyway. We're kind of in it to win it now. Strangely, this has actually only got a 550 watt G2 EVGA power supply. Strange. I thought it had something more than that. So we're going to take out the rest of the fans. If we're doing it, we might as well do it properly, haven't we? It says. Not that I generally tend to do things properly, but I don't know whether these are going to need soaking, but because they've not been in the direct line of the feline water, so to speak, so we might get away with just actually giving them a clean, give them a decent vacuum, maybe a little bit of isopropyl alcohol on the blades or something, just to clean things up a little bit. I could, no, I was going to say, in theory, I could actually put in some Thermaltake SWA fans, but due to the fact that he abuses his computer so much, I don't think he is deserving of SWA fans. And being that they're like 100 quid for a pack of 3, we're going to need at least 5, maybe 6. Actually, there wasn't a fan on the exhaust, was there?
Kieran says stop pissing around.
Stop pissing around. I wish the cats would. Yeah, everything. I was going to give you some close-ups of the back of the PC, but I don't think there's any real need to because it looks absolutely fine. And I'm now actually glad that the power supply was mounted fan down, because if it was mounted fan up, that could have cost us a power supply. And at the moment, power supplies are ridiculously expensive for what they're supposed to be. YouTube are getting upset that the current stream's bitrate is higher than it should be. Well, maybe invest in your infrastructure then. I've got 1 gig internet. Deal with it.
Is the board?
I'm quite pleased.
Okay.
The board, I think, is fine. We are unable to fire up at the moment because obviously it's disassembled, but I might try and do that. Stick an air cooler in here just to get things up and running so he's got a PC for tonight. And then see what the deal is. In fact, actually, I've got the Zalman CNPS that Ugly Bob sent, which I haven't reviewed yet, so I could actually kill 2 birds with 1 stone there.
Or 2 cats.
Kill 2 cats with 1 stone. I really should have had dinner before I start this. Oh well, it's good for weight loss. Let's get as much water out as we can. Yeah, this is actually, well, it's not clean, but it's, at least it's not damp, wet, dirty.
You can't kill 2 cats with 1 stone.
No, that would require at least a sledge.
Very evil.
Or a cold hammer or cold chisel. That'll do it. I can't remember how these fans actually connect up. Ah, they must be there, so let's unplug
Matthew
that.
Day says you flexing your new upload.
I am flexing my upload just to annoy YouTube. Well, it doesn't seem to be doing much, really.
It seems actually slower, all of it, to be honest.
Yeah, the there's something very bizarre with our network, and I'm still trying to work out what it is. I think it's just because it's overly complicated and it's not managed as such. Normally, for what's that going to? Is that going to there? Yeah. Normally, for most networks, if you've got more than 1 or 2 switches or hubs, really you should have some sort of management or smart system built in. But yeah, we don't. Oh my days. That is not nice. Something I should have done actually with this, when I built this, all the fans just went to individual headers, so they're all kind of running at different speeds. So I might actually put a hub in.
Can you see your screen?
Yeah.
Welly Bob?
Welly Bob. I'd boot up PC with the GPU, the RAM, and see what happens before going further. Yeah, I suppose that's not a bad idea. I am going to have to post, or at least see if we can get a post out of it. This motherboard actually has been a little bit problematic at times. I think it's basically because it's quite an old board, and it's probably on a pretty old BIOS update. We used to have this really weird issue where it would take probably 5 minutes to find the hard drive, and trying to actually get the settings dialed in right for the hard drive to boot was a real pain in the backside. It's almost like the boot record was on one drive and the data or Windows was on another, and vice versa. You know what I mean? It's a bit of a mess, and there's 2 physical hard drives in here. There's also a Samsung SSD. Is that all that's in there? 3 drives? I thought there was more than that. I swore I tucked another one in somewhere. Oh, maybe not. But yeah, could do with some NVMe storage in there, really. Although I don't. Oh yeah, it has got NVMe. I wasn't sure if it even had NVMe, because that is how old this thing is. And that is, now that there is wet, but that is very, very sweet smelling. So that is vape juice. Is that my wet cloth? Yeah. So the front of this is absolutely caked, because we've never, well, since it's been built, I don't think the fans have ever come out. They've been cleaned and attempted to be cleaned, but that is, I'm almost, well, almost completely sure that the motherboard has a short somewhere due to the vape juice that's on it, or it's kind of damaged some of the traces or tracks somewhere. I think George will be closing his bedroom door on a night time now.
Oh, poor kid, he's got the tiniest room.
He has got the box room, unfortunately. Sorry, this isn't very easy for you lot to see.
Litter box room.
The litter box room, yeah.
Yeah, you missed a trick in the title calling it a PC.
Yeah, the PC. How to clean a PC. That's actually pretty good. You guys are clever.
Might have to dishwasher the motherboard.
Yeah. We don't use the dishwasher. Well, we do. She's sat there. Right, that is considerably cleaner. And doesn't smell like ogres.
Letting stuff dry out is the safest way. The Freedom House and tiny cracks and crevices can hold piss straight water. I'll have to give it a day myself after I cleaned it.
Yeah, I don't think PC wise, motherboard wise, and graphics card, I think it's going to be okay. The worst part is that cooler and these fans. Look at the state of those fans. That is just grim. But that is just dust. Well, yeah, you can see it just dropping off there. So I'm going to see if I can get. I should be able to get rid of most of that, I think, with just using the brush method. So let's get me a damp brush. Actually, could do with a change of water there, I think.
Can you ask Mike if he'll help me flash my RX 580? RX 580, that's the one. 2048 SP BIOS. The seller sent me the gaming BIOS, but you've got no idea how to flash them BIOS.
Oh, what? He sent you the BIOS on like a flash stick or something, or emailed it to you? We have actually done a video on that, on how to do that, which is reasonably straightforward.
What is that? Founder's Edition one.
I know it was the error 41 video.
He's emailed it over.
Right. Okay.
Oh no, it was emailed over. I'm assuming.
It was emailed over. Okay, got you.
They
Yeah.
are student fans if ever I've seen them. He's only become a student since last week.
Yeah, he's only
technically an apprentice.
He's been a student previously, and he's now won a game.
Well, apprentice, same, isn't it?
Yeah, that is horrible. Oh god, that is genuinely quite bad.
I think we should go with Valletta's idea. Washing dishes, what a weird concept. I only use paper plates and plastic forks. Well, all our spoons disappeared in Angel's room, so we gave her some plastic spoons for Christmas one year. She hated it because it was a waste of a present.
Yeah, she got upset with that. We enjoyed it though.
But the spoons don't go missing anymore. That's one good thing.
Oh, this is horrendous. There isn't really an easier way of doing this either. Well, there probably is, but not that it doesn't blow all the crap everywhere in your house. I don't really want to get these overly wet if I can possibly help it. I think I'm definitely going to have hay fever after this.
Or what's that? You're getting your lungs from vaping?
Oh yeah, cotton wool lung, whatever it is. Why do you put so many damn blades on here? Oh.
Car pressure cleaner.
Yeah, jet wash. That'd be the way forward, wouldn't it?
That's what a letter does, isn't it?
Oh, they're coming up a bit better. Oh, kid. This would be one of those things like, why am I actually doing this? This is your PC. This is the bit where I need an assistant.
Get clean water.
No.
Do you want clean water?
Actually, I'm going to dip those in. That should be waterproof-ish. There we go. If I keep it that way round, it'll be fine. You've got to be careful when you're doing the fan as well. Don't poke at them too much because you could quite easily damage the fluid bearing which is inside. But really, there's not a huge other option of kind of what you can and can't do with them.
Bacterial. That is right. It sounds pristine.
Bacterial.
Bacterial spray on kitchen rolls like grime off PC fans, less nets.
Yeah, that's not bad. I doubt if yours are quite as bad, bad as these. Though these are bloody awful. The spray alcohol would have been a good here. Actually, I need to do that. I have to get myself a little bottle so I can spray isopropyl. I'll sod it. All that hard work. They should be fine. They'll be good. They'll dry out eventually. Well, that looks considerably better. If you don't like it, you can clean his own bloody face. So there's your before and after.
Ooh. See that side better.
Yeah, that is quite a difference. Right, Erica, another one's put in the garden, please, if you don't mind.
Gonna go boom, lol.
You said that, George.
Jeez, I'm gamer.
That'll be right. I
Bit
didn't.
where the cat's which way up anyway?
Fan facing up.
I don't know.
Yeah, like that. Right, I think I need to drink some of my my cup of tea a minute. I think I'm getting a bit warm here. Actually, there's water there. I'll have some water instead in my Mike's unboxing glass. Very good. Wipe down my surfaces. I don't know whether to just dunk these. Actually, if I do it on an angle, that might be alright. Just like playing with water, really.
Did you drink your tea?
I haven't touched it yet, no.
Where's your camera?
Where's my camera?
Yeah, I'm gonna hide. Do you want it there?
Yeah, go ahead, thank you. Try this with the foaming hand wash. For no other reason than it smells of rhubarb. What's the other thing in it? Rhubarb and what?
Lemon.
Rhubarb and lemon. So you've got the cleaning power of lemon, and you've got the fragrance of rhubarb. That's good because it's not overly foamy.
I think that's just essential oil stuff, maybe.
I really want to make my own essential oil soaps. Like buy the ingredients and just make cold soaps like the ones that they sell from like Dr. Swatch. But they seem to make them really, really expensive. I guess they are quite expensive and there's a long-winded process to do. But I'm sure there must be a way of doing it so it doesn't cost a fortune. Because it's only soap at the end of the day, isn't it? These fans. Well, it's not as if his dad isn't a YouTuber who's got some spare fans, is it? Which isn't the way I should look at it, but that is the facts. What's going on in the chat? I can't see the chat now. Water has particles and really don't like to be used to clean connections. Oh, okay. Don't forget the fire extinguisher. Look at that. Right, let's give him a little swill. Lovely jubbly. Look at that. It's like they come out of the factory. Kind of. So again, the before and after. That's quite a considerable difference, isn't it? Poor old George. He loves his Corsair stuff as well. He loves the Corsair fans because he's got everything set up. Although he doesn't use addressable RGB, he uses just, well, none of them actually. Well, technically he does. Yeah, he basically has everything lit up yellow, which is ironic because the colour of cat pee. Maybe it was foreboding. They're going to be fine. Right, Kath, there's another one. I feel the heat rising off of me now.
Another one bites the dust.
And another one gets peed on. Or not. Right, one last one to do. Let's give it a little dunk. And then back on with the soapy stuff. Actually, can I move that? What's behind there? Nothing. Pull the PC off the desk now. Destroy the motherboard all in one go. Right, I can see this. I can see the chat now. So where we go? Willy Bob Duncan go. 70% in one bottle for cleaning cases, glass. 91% for cleaning PC parts. Okay, I'm gonna order up myself some little spray bottles that are suitable for alcohol.
Actually, have I got any little ones? Those little glass.
Yeah, they might be alright.
Don't know if I have any that the spray works on.
Oh, that was a bit wet. Sounds like Spooky Dookies. If this works after, for any extended period of time, that'd be cool. George has been eyeing up my Series 500 behind me. Ah, excellent. Looks like we have bottles suitable.
Didn't think of those.
Shame we didn't have them like an hour ago.
We did, but I just didn't think of them. How's the AM5 doing? BIOS update on my X670 has made it stable. I'm now struggling to run the Expo on DDR5. It's like win one, lose one.
Right. Yeah, mine's been okay. I haven't done a BIOS update on that one behind me for probably about a month. I think there is one new BIOS since the one I've got on there, but I haven't installed it as of yet. Something I do get quite frequently, which I'm not sure whether it's my Windows installation or the board or just the way the AM5 is handled, but I do seem to be getting quite a few cases where I choose shutdown, but it doesn't. It just reboots, and the second or third time of choosing shutdown, I kind of make myself have to deliberately go, right, start, power, shut down. And if I concentrate on it, it shuts down. If I don't do it and I just like do, it's like, why is my PC rebooting? I've had that a couple of times. It could just be me. It's more than possible. Now, Kath, there's another one, please, if you don't mind. Face down.
Anthony says have a good day. He's just clocked in at work.
Cheers, Anthony. Have a great day at work. Hopefully your work is somewhat more fragrant than mine. All I can smell is alcohol at the moment. Right. I think that is pretty much all I can do at the moment. Although we have got our alcohol spray now, so let's ditch that. Matthew Day says, I don't know, where is it? I saw something about an AIO. George be better off with that spare 3090 than AM5.
Sorry, headphone users.
Yeah. Oh, someone's got their strum right. Couldn't write it, could you?
Water has particles and really shouldn't be used to clean connections. My laptop wouldn't boot into safe mode, so I had to disable BitLocker encryption. Didn't realise it would take 9 hours.
Oh god, yeah. BitLocker encryption, if you haven't got some hardware accelerated way of doing it, it can take absolutely ages.
Tony, I think someone's answering it.
Oh.
Only just seen what happened. Did the cat piss on it or knock a bowl of water?
Well, yeah, the cat peed on it to start with, and then I poured loads of water in it.
How the hell did a cat piss on his PC? What the fuck?
Sat on top. Right. Where am I cleaning? Yeah.
Tony says I have cats as well. None of them even go near my PC. I'm just baffled.
Yeah, Daisy very rarely will get on a PC. Sometimes they'll get on mine because it's like a little cubby hole.
Though, the other one.
But yeah, Daisy won't really do that.
Is this getting a bit ASMR watching cleaning?
Yeah, probably. I was thinking the same, so you're not on your own.
It won't Poppy letter as Daisy. Poppy was like, this PC only has a 2700 and a 1080. Got piss on that. We could blame her anyway.
Yeah.
And let her know. Blame Dave.
Yeah. Who said that?
William. Yeah, it was David Aiken came round in the middle of the night and blamed it on Daisy.
Bloody David Aiken. Swine.
Man, they must have big flies in the UK. That's true.
Okay. Well, I think this is clean.
Mess up, right? You pissed on that piece so you can do a live stream.
Do you know what? I'll tell you a funny story, actually. This is probably not safe for kids, so if kids are in the room, get them out. Well, actually, no, it doesn't matter, I suppose. When we lived in our previous house, we had a spare room, and it had like one of those exercise bikes. So you sit on it, and it's got handlebars, and you kind of pull yourself up on it.
Wasn't it called the ad?
Like Ab Flex or Ab Master or
I think we called it
something.
the ad master or something, didn't we?
And yeah, we went out and got absolutely leathered one night.
Mike got that.
And I thought I was going to the toilet, but I wasn't. So I went into the spare room, lifted up the seat on this exercise bike, and then peed all over the bike and myself and the floor. And I must have kind of realised that I was doing it because I took my socks off and started trying to mop it all up.
And you kept lifting the saddle thing.
Yeah, I kept on lifting the saddle and it wouldn't stay up, and it kept on slamming down. It's like, what's going on? Just let me pee, please.
But it wasn't until you found your socks the next morning that you were like,
Yeah, it's
what
like,
happened
I
here?
found my socks in the room and it's like,
It all slowly,
oh no, I remember now.
it slowly came back to you. I might have to shut this blind down. Is it going to be too dark for you?
That'd be alright, I think.
It's getting a bit hot now.
Oh yeah, it's gonna be way too dark.
Put the blind on now. Yeah, not too dark.
Where's the bin?
That's right, isn't it?
Yeah, I think that looks okay.
Do you want the bin round?
No, I think I just chucked a paper towel in the bin. I think it's gone in.
Ah, it's not gone
Is it not?
in.
Did I miss by miles?
No, not that far.
Right, let's see what other components we've got in our mystery bucket now. Ooh. Oh, that's the screws for the case. It's a shame that this won't take a 360mm AIO, because I've got 3 of those Sahara Gaming AIOs.
Yeah.
So I could have just put that in there. That would have made life a bit easier. But then they don't work with the Corsair ecosystem, do they? So no, I think that's it. Actually, I could just count them, couldn't I? That'd be a lot easier. 1, 2, 3, 4, yeah, 8. I made that hard work, unnecessarily so.
Going back to your peeing accident, that was the only one that you've done, isn't it? A drunken
Yeah,
peeing thing.
I very rarely drink, so it's yeah, it's one of those things that doesn't happen very often. But when it does, it's relatively humorous.
And that was like 20.
It's like 20 odd years ago.
June 2000.
Was it?
Yeah. I remember things like that. For some stupid reason.
The chances of this booting up are getting worse by the second, especially when I'm rubbing RAM with a paper towel. But
You start off really good and then you just revert back into,
yeah,
ooh, cat piss.
I just cleaned it. The slots. You can always tell if you're. That's something I found actually. This is a top tip, which you're more than welcome to ignore if you want. You're probably best off, to be honest with you. Is if your RAM isn't booting or it's not doing XMP or doing weird stuff, lick the contacts. It sounds the most stupid thing I've ever said, and even saying it out loud makes me think that I'm probably absolutely right. But it does, you can feel the difference. Even if you clean it with alcohol and all that kind of stuff, you can still feel that there's like something on the RAM. And you can feel it, like when you lick it, you're like, oh, there's something on there. There's like tiny little particles, it must be. I've done that a few times. Licking the RAM makes RAM generally work when it doesn't work previously. Top tip. Feel free to use it.
Alexa says cut off a couple of inches from front basement cover and a 360 should fit.
Actually, the 360 will fit in there anyway, but the one that I've got, he wouldn't like. So it's not going to happen. So really, I think I'm going to have to kind of see, what can I put in there? Actually, I know what I could use. I could use the stock AMD cooler, which I'm sure I have here somewhere. Yes, I have. Oh God, the shorts are stuck to my arse.
Warren's ex-father-in-law had this small bedroom and a big bathroom spot, so more room for a daughter's bed. He got drunk on Saturday night and forgot. Nearly keyed in wardrobe, but daughters wondered
What the hell's going on? Right, be back in a sec, just emptying this and grabbing a cooler. Grabbing the cooler. Righty then. So,
Can you look at
Ryzen cooler.
12 for you?
Veni 012, I can't see. Veni 012. Evening both. I have a Ryzen 9 5950X, but I don't have a 360 AMI cooler and only have 2 fans mounted on the radiator. I'm currently looking at the Arctic Freezer 2 360mm. Is that a good option? Yeah, definitely. Yeah, the Arctic Freezer 2 is still able to definitely pull its weight in terms of cooling power. I would certainly go for that. And to be honest with you, I've got a 240mm running on my Intel setup, and I am considering putting the Arctic 360 in my PC, just because at the moment when it's a little bit warmer, it does struggle a little bit.
Name said, one man, two dims.
One man, two dims.
Chris Harkin said you can get an ARGB. You can get ARGB to work on the IQ hub with an adapter cable controls and like an LED strip.
Yeah, that's right. You can get a.
Unless you swap the fans if they work.
I think what I want to do is just to get this connected up again. We'll stick a random graphics card in here, and just make sure that it's actually gonna post. Maybe even boot. We'll just do a temporary solution here, just to validate it does work. Oh, I hate these coolers.
Mookie, lick the RAM. Excuse me while I check the calendar and make sure it's not April Fool's Day. This is a stream from Bizarro World.
I know. There's a video that I did ages ago on RAM issues or RAM problems, and it's had an extreme amount of views for what our channel normally gets. And the kind of the basis of it, a lot of it, is the fact that you can actually figure out your RAM problems by basically licking it. And there's numerous people on there who've had the same problem where they're just RAM doesn't work, or blue screening or whatever. They've tried absolutely everything, cleaning it with isopropyl alcohol, rubbers, all sorts, you know, like all the usual kind of stuff. And there's a there's a surprising amount of people that have had extreme good fortune by using that method of just licking the RAM. I'm guessing there's something in the saliva which actually kind of breaks down stuff, or yeah. So yeah, it sounds weird, but if you're like me, where you've not always had money available to kind of randomly just swap out parts and that, you get desperate and you try all sorts. And I did actually, I think it was on a stream that I did it first of all. And it's like we tried everything to get this RAM to work and it just would not work. So I for a laugh on the stream, I just licked it, put it in, and it immediately booted up. And we were all like, what just happened there? And then a little bit later on, another person did it and did the same thing, and theirs worked as well. And it's like, this isn't just a fluke. And I did it on a couple of other PCs as well, and it always worked. Well, almost always worked. So it's worth trying, I say personally.
Mark Barry's just popped in.
Hi, Mark.
After work, having a Greg's steak and bake and a coffee.
Oh, I could do with a steak bake.
Do a mocha.
I could do with a coffee and a steak bake.
I might message in just bring them back first.
There's still dust there. Oh well. Right.
Just muted microphone or out of wireless range. Same here for a few seconds, mate.
Oh, when I went into the other room?
Maybe,
Yeah, possibly. Sorry about that. Sorry, I was only talking nonsense.
Benny said, yeah, the reason why I'm asking is my CPU temp is currently 63, so I was watching this live stream with my camera on Discord. I don't know why I haven't really changed anything major.
Because the temperatures have gone up in general for people, like it is having a bit of a knock-on effect. And also, if you've got things like XMP turned on, XMP is one of those things which gives you like ridiculously high temperatures for what actual benefits you get of it. And not XMP, sorry, ignore that, not XMP. If you turn on Precision Boost Overdrive, if you set it to auto or on, it will just try and push frequencies all the time, which these days, multi-core processors, you don't really need it. It's more of a gimmick than anything, so I would generally turn PBO off or reduce it. and you should find your temperatures drop a good, well, you won't get the spikes in temperatures so much, which is always like quite a helpful thing. Is this going to work?
William Bodie, does the CPU get thermal on it? Did not see it.
No, we're going to see if it works first of all. I'm actually going to put the... actually, do I put his graphics card in, or should I just use a random one?
Really random reviews. It's weird how we used to bang the top of the TV to fix it, but it worked.
Yeah.
Not when Channel 5 came to retune us, it didn't.
Yeah, the Channel 5.
They thought I was a mad woman banging the top of the TV to get it to turn on.
She is a mad woman.
Yeah, but I was even madder that day.
Aside from the usual madness, right. Let's put a random unpowered graphics card in there.
Mark Berry says, hey, Mike and Kath, this is a bonus seeing a live stream on a weekday.
Yeah, there's
Thank Daisy for that one.
It's Daisy's fault. I have considered, I've kind of always wanted to do, but I'm a lazy bastard. I've always wanted to do like a morning PC live stream for like maybe an hour of just like...
Morning, you?
Yeah, that's why I said it. Like just
What time did this start?
morning news or recap sort of thing. So just like the news of the day for PC stuff. Just do it like an hour show or maybe even a half-hour show. Just, I don't know. It's a nice idea. And I wanted to call it Mub Club, which, because obviously Mike's unboxing Mubs, we're all Mubsters, etc. So I thought, yeah, Mub Club is like a morning thing. It might still happen one day, but it might end up being a late night thing rather than a morning thing.
Pip Boy said, did any drip through the vents to the PSU?
No, unfortunately the PSU is fan down, so that is like amazing. Actually, I haven't looked underneath here actually. Oh my goodness, look at the state of that.
Mike's half hour.
Kath, sorry, can you give that a wash or a rinse? I tipped that water away.
Give it to Daisy to wash.
Yeah, get her to lick it or something.
Get her to lick the
Let's give that a little spritz. Just looking at the time, George gets home from his college thing round about now, so he's going to be expecting his PC. Little does he know, I've submerged it. Although saying that, he might be watching it. I doubt it. Okay. Pig Boy. Did any drip through the vents to the PSU? No, I don't think so. It appears to be pretty much bone dry there, because it's most of it seemed to be around here. So there might be a little bit on the wires possibly. But we'll well, if it goes bang, we will find out. Actually, I can see in there a bit better now, and it doesn't appear that there is anything in there. So it's nice to get to the wires now. There is an absolute ton of wires in there.
Yes, you should always be fanning it down no matter what, Ladios.
Yeah, I guess so. Sometimes, in some cases, like in there, I've got one face up. But it's because it's RGB, and also it's beneficial.
Bottom to make sure it didn't drip over the top of the PSU or anything.
No, it doesn't seem to be. It looks bone dry. I can't see any signs of fluid at all. There is a very small gap in between, but I'm pretty sure that even the drive cage looks kind of okay.
And he says, shall I turn off PB4 then?
I would turn it off, yeah.
And then the radio said it should be on auto.
If you can put it onto auto. Auto is the least aggressive. So that'll just do what it can. If you turn it off, you will get lower temps. You might get slightly worse performance, but not majorly.
Is that liquid dripping out of the IO shield?
Sorry?
Or was that liquid dripping out of the IO shield?
I didn't see any. No, the IO shield looks dry. George said that this morning, didn't he?
I don't know.
Something about the IO shield. Unless he meant the front IO.
And maybe they meant the front IO. IO shield, it says.
I can't see any. That looks dry. Pretty sure that is a little mark there.
Right, wearing a hairpiece and a bath suit and doing the tech news like a 1980s presenter sounds like a fun show.
Yeah.
He needs an on-air female sidekick, however. Daisy!
Yeah.
Poppy Dora! Come on, Mike, boot it up, boot it up.
Come on then, let's do it. I need a power cable.
Imagine if it goes bang and you end up like on The Sims where the cooker explodes.
Yeah, that'll be fun.
All black and base.
What do I need? I need a monitor, really, don't I? Actually, I should be able to. Yeah, that's not going to do it, is it? I'm going to need a
Let's get that portable
GPU.
monitor,
Let's get,
eh?
yeah, portable monitor is here somewhere.
That's it.
As if by magic, the portable monitor appeared. I wish I didn't put the stuff away all the time.
George will be home soon. 16, lad.
So, it's about my weight.
You'll hear a post beep, no?
No, I don't think there isn't a BIOS thing. BIOS. What's the word I'm looking for? BIOS buzzer.
I was going to say bang.
Bell buzzer, whatever. It's all the same. Okie dokie. Nope, that's the volume rocker. Let's not plug the HDMI into the volume rocker because that's just stupid. Hopefully it won't destroy anything which is plugged into it if there is a bad thing. Although saying that, this monitor technically was a freebie. I suppose really we should have a fire extinguisher in there, shouldn't we?
Fill up that washing up bowl.
No, you don't put water onto an electric fire.
I would.
I know.
It's a low stream. Good.
Yeah, I know, but we don't earn that much. Right, I need a keyboard and mouse. So let's plug that into there.
Bang!
You're a knobhead. I hate you.
Oh, that sounds...
Appears to be booting.
It's got no signal.
I know.
That's okay.
Let's come back. Hey! Pro
I hope it
Series.
didn't do that when you bumped where you jumped.
It's working. It's not dead. It's taking a while to find the hard drives though. But it does that anyway.
Right, let's get the front door open for when George comes home.
So it does this for ages, like Windows is loading. Actually, I better turn that around, so I'm not too sure what's on his boot screen. But it's on.
This can't kill a mob PC then.
Still booting. Does this for ages. I'm pretty sure it's something through like UEFI, MBR. Let's see. Right. So it works. Happy days. It's not dead. Well.
Make
did actually.
Oh, bless you.
Poor me. How's that?
I don't know, was it outside or in here?
It was inside. Oh, there's some hard drive clanking going on. Ooh. Yeah, that. Can you hear that? That's a dead hard drive.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Uh-oh.
Which actually shouldn't make any difference to, because that's more of a physical thing. Scanning, repairing drive C.
Necromania. You
Hey,
know, how's
there
it
we go.
going? I have some specific question, Mike.
There we go. We have a booted PC. Although the fan sounds like absolute donkey do. But it works. Albeit slightly loud.
Is Benny on our Discord?
I don't know.
Just disabled PBO and it's still the same after reboot. In fact, it's a little hotter, 64 degrees now. Join Discord.
Yeah. Might want some work done with the cooler.
In case they can.
Yeah. Venny, join the Discord and we'll try and go through that with you a little bit later. Man, that is one loud. I wonder actually how much or how hot that is. I need to get into the BIOS.
Right.
Nope.
Do you want to tell Necromania to ask the question?
Necromania, ask the question. What question are we asking?
He says I have some specific question.
All right, go on then. I can't see the screen at the moment, but I will do my best.
Nick Barnes asked, did you say George's PC uses HDD?
Yeah, he's got 2 hard drives in there. And that is making somewhat of a racket. Right, we're in
Money Bob's like, now test the 1080 Ti line.
It's probably as dried out actually, the 1080 Ti.
Yeah, probably is. Necromania, I got an FX 9590
Okay, wow. Yeah.
bulldozer, as you know,
Yeah.
and sometimes the PCI Express bus changing. Is it right that the North Bridge and South Bridge speeds controls and has effect on the bus speed?
I'm honestly, I'm not entirely sure. I don't think, because I don't think they have a North Bridge. I think all of it is integrated in the chipset. But I could be wrong. Is the memory controller on Bulldozer, or is it in the chipset? Not sure. Is the honest answer on that? I'd have to
No problem.
have a look.
Take your time.
Yeah, I'm not too sure on that one. Mookie MC, is that a touchscreen monitor? Yes, it is actually. Well done. Oh, but it doesn't work in BIOS, only in Windows, because it hasn't got a driver for BIOS.
NB/SB, alright, Mike? Sammy, do you understand?
Yeah, I think so. Right, CPU, fan, smart PWM. Right, 20 at 20. That's better.
Thanks, by the way, Mike, for checking.
What's that? What have I done?
Necromania.
Oh, right, yeah, no worries. I'll see what I can do. No guarantees, but I will try. Right, that's much better. And currently, temperature-wise, is only CPU's at 34 Celsius. That's 93 Fahrenheit for those wondering.
And what's it in here?
In this room currently, it is.
Still can't see.
Still can't see it. 27.3. It's hot. 27 degrees inside with no air isn't great. Voltages. Oh, that's what I wanted to look for. Hard drives. See if they're all actually recognised. Although, I'm not entirely sure which ones are supposed to be here.
If only I just get a new cooler, considering it would be an upgrade on my current one anyway.
To be honest with you, yeah, it's probably a good idea. A new cooler. Integrated peripherals, SATA plug. SATA configuration. No hot plug. Why does it not show drives that are connected? Oh, there it is. So there is UEFI hard drive, SATA 3, Samsung SSD, hard disk ST4000, so that's the 4TB drive, and it's not showing the other one. That is a bit concerning. It's not advanced with storage. Ah, no, it's not. Alright, okay. I don't know whether you're going to be able to see this. I'll try and get it on the same plane as my face. So you see it. So we're showing there 4TB drive at the top, 2TB underneath, the 1TB SSD, and SATA 4 is in present. So it is actually physically seeing all 3 drives. So that is fantastic. The fans are controlling themselves now. So yeah, I think we're good. Do you want to grab the graphics card, Kath, please?
Mookie asks, is it Weed Whacker Day or is someone using a chainsaw outside the Moob house?
Both. It is both. Right, what drive is that? Yes, we are in UEFI mode. Let's see if it actually makes that noise again. I'm not sure whether you lot will be able to actually physically hear it, but there is a bit of a squeal coming from one of the drives. Hopefully you can just about hear it. Although you don't really want to hear it. Okay. Is it warm? Cool, bloody hell, that's hot. Okay, now.
You go repaste it.
I don't know. How easy are these to take apart? I've never taken one of these apart. Does anybody know how difficult the GTX 1080 is to repaste? Is it just take off those 4 screws and it basically falls apart? I'm guessing it isn't going to be that easy because it's a Founders Edition. That is hot.
And can I just tell you, Necromania said, I mean, it changes sometimes back to 8x8 instead of running the graphics card on times 16, like just so.
Right, okay, I understand. Welly Ball says, don't strip that 1080 Ti. It's not easy. Right, okay, fair enough, I won't. I'm not getting that weird noise from the drive now. Oh, actually, is the top filter and the front filters dry yet, do you think?
Yeah.
Might as well stick those back in.
Please, yeah?
Yes, please, yeah. Or stick them back on.
I think they're dry, aren't they?
Yeah, that looks fine. Thank you. Alright, yeah, we're booted into Windows. Well, not into Windows, but Windows is on. Or loading. Lovely jubbly. I think this is actually quite successful. Right, I'm going to turn this off again.
I think they call that a fix.
Yeah, I think we call that a fix. Bang. Shut down.
Can Mike just look a video how to change thermal on that 1080?
I probably could. I might. Looking at it, I'm saying that the shroud's got to come off there and there, so 2 screws there. 3 actually. Actually, I need to put it in first anyway, don't I, to make sure that it works. Because if I take it apart and then it doesn't work, it's like, have I broken it or did it spontaneously combust itself? So I think
the heat from the sun will kind of repaste itself anyway.
Yeah, that's true. That was really hot.
Nick Barnes says worth a video cleaning, repaste, etc.
Yeah, we might do that. See what happens. See if see what George says. If he wants it redone. We don't know if it works yet. We'll put it in. See if we get a display on it.
Stripping it will take 30 minutes or more.
Yeah, that's not going to
Have
happen.
you watched Mike's videos before?
Yeah.
30 minutes.
I think we should just leave the 1030 in there and say, there you go, George, there's your new computer. You're off to the races, son. Although your races will be capped at 30 FPS. It's actually quite ironic because that was the cooler that he actually had in the computer when he first got it, because the 2700X came with that cooler. And I'd forever go into his room and be like, George, what's that noise? And he'd be like, it's a headphone. Ooh. Oh, yeah. That's the trouble with kids these days. They've always got the headphones on so they can't hear a bloody thing.
Our neighbours must think he's deaf. Always talking to him out of his window.
Yeah.
Aimlessly looking at you.
I miss the days of 8-pin graphics card connectors.
William Bailey's going to have to go soon.
Okay.
To leave.
Thank you for stopping
I
by.
have to leave to drive my bike, Benelli, is it? But I'll leave the PC on for a stream.
Oh, bless you, sir.
Necromania's is 6+2 mic, yeah?
Yeah, 6+2. You got it.
Bang!
Jeez, would you stop doing that? That's really not funny. That woman's going to put me into an early bloody grave. I almost actually shit myself then. And then we've already cleaned the piss out. You don't want to have shit in it as well. Oh, God. Oh, that's just, well.
Alexa says some of us old people wear headphones 24 hours per day.
I tried wearing headphones for a long time. I can't do it. I think it's because I'm always moving around doing stuff. If I don't like you wearing wireless stuff all day long. I think that's generally a bad idea for your brain. Oh, there's that hard drive noise again. I think one of the things we're going to have to suggest is to replace those hard drives. The thing is, he uses it for bulk storage, so I'm tempted to get him to get a NAS with at least RAID on it. So if he does want to store stuff long term, store it off the computer onto a NAS with some redundancy on it. So if one drive fails, you don't lose everything.
So, can he have his NAS somewhere else, or is it got to be in the same?
You can have it
house?
down here.
Well, I was thinking you could have it at work, cheaper.
Yeah, it could do. Then the thing is, if you have a NAS somewhere, it's someone else's house or some other location, you've then got the potential that someone could damage it. Well, no, not so much get into it. It's just the fact that the physical damage side of things.
But then it's better to not have all your eggs in one basket either, isn't it?
Yeah, there we go. So that's booted up into Windows. So the graphics card works. The lighting works. The fan is gone bananas.
We're very blessed to have this sunny day to dry everything out so quickly.
Yeah.
You're getting it put back together when you didn't think you would.
Graphics driver installed itself. Excellent stuff. So that has worked. So other than the fans drying out, which I'm kind of dubious about putting them straight back in anyway. I think they do need a bit longer to dry out.
They haven't long been out there, to be honest.
Yeah, I think that's worked out alright.
What else is out there? The AIO.
It's a lot cleaner. A bit noisier.
And NAS would also offer us another item for the cat to pee on.
That's true. And another heat source in the winter. Right, let's turn that off. Because I think that is pretty much all we can do. So I can get the other panels cleaned up. Actually, I can use the alcohol spray. I'm looking forward to this, actually. That's cool. I get really kind of excited about silly things like that. But it'll be nice to have it all done. Well, at least as best we can for now. I think he'll be happy. And actually, I'll be honest with you, I'm actually quite desperate to take a look at my new graphics card. That's quite sad, isn't it? I can't see anything. Oh, hang on. Marco T, Marco Tanis. I can never do that name. What's that? Oh, do you know what? I could hear something rattling around. I was like, oh, what have I left in there now? And it was this screw just doing that. But I could hear it on the other side. I was like, what's going on there? Excellent. Thank you, Marco, for being a member. Much appreciated. Umar says, first stream I've managed to watch. Glad to see the PC is fixed. To be fair, I'm not going to take too much of the kudos for that because I don't know if it was actually broken. It was just wet. Whether or not it was damaged, I pretty much doubt it was, to be honest. Otherwise, I don't think it would have been this easy to get it back up and running.
Put the light on instead of on.
Cat's turning the lights on. She's a lunatic. Absolute lunatic.
Memory.
There's a super chat come in from... That camera's been following you.
You're joking? But not out loud.
No. It's a camera.
Yeah, but
Marco's come back in with the RSD 500. So that is that Romanian RSD, something dollars, isn't it? And if I remember rightly, 500 of those is approximately £5 UK. So thank you very much, Marco. Much appreciated. Glad to see you back in the channel. It's been a while. We missed you. In fact, I said to Kath the other day, because I looked on the list.
Is it Serbian dollars?
Might be actually. Royal Serbia dollar? I don't know. The South African rand? Close the window if you want. I'm not bothered.
Leave it as it is, or...
Bloody £5 for these shorts and I got £4.50's worth up my ass. Right. Let's put some side panels back on. We'll give this a clean as well before we do it. I should really put a cloth down underneath it to prevent any scratching.
Dinar. Is it D-I-N-A-R?
Dinar?
Yeah.
I could do some dinar. I'm starving. Ba-boom.
Oh, they can't see me. They can only see the pink hairdo. That's not me. That's Daisy. I dyed her pink one. Umar, what budget CPU would you go for currently if you were building a budget build? I'm thinking of 5600.
It depends if you're using a graphics card or not. If you are using a graphics card in a budget build, then yeah, the 5600 or even the 3600 is a pretty decent buy, depending on what motherboard you're putting it on. If you're putting it onto a B450 or something, kind of a bit wasted putting a 5600 on there. But yeah, it depends what you can get locally. That's come up really nice. And it smells like vodka.
Greetings from Switzerland, by
Hello,
the way.
hello Switzerland.
Net Romania, so.
Switzerland, one of my favourite places. Praise the Lord for Toblerone. I joke. And clocks. Is that a very... God, blimey, that's strong. Woo! Is that a very stereotypical way of looking at Switzerland? Clocks? And chocolate? Come on, we all love chocolate, don't we? I do. You can tell, look at the size of me.
Please test one fan with a cheap PSU in the white cupboard. Welly Bob's been stalking our cupboards.
Dun dun dun, Welly Bob, you bad, bad man. Funnily enough, the cheap power supply isn't actually in the cupboard anymore, because I literally yesterday sent back the... Actually, I updated the video for the Airs Game 500 watt power supply. I bought another one to see if the fan was any noisier, or the same, or better, and it's actually noisier. So it seems the first one I got was possibly a fluke and it was quieter. The second one, it was horrendous. So I actually sent that back today. that was collected by Royal Mail this morning to go back to Amazon. And I've actually swapped out for a GameMax 500 watt, which is here somewhere, which I could use. Worst case scenario, it's £33 up in smoke. Oh no, that's the other one.
Oh.
This I actually bought today as well. This is the
That
GameMax
was the second one, right?
Rampage 750. This is actually a semi-modular, I believe. Yeah, semi-modular power supply, 80 plus bronze. In a moment, 50 quid on Amazon. Not bad, considering how expensive power supplies are at the moment. You can pick up for similar money at the moment something like the Be Quiet 400 watt, which is kind of pointless. So if you want a semi-modular power supply on a budget, but you'd want at least bronze efficiency, for 50 quid, this is actually really good. I can't believe I'm even saying that. Like, I would have not dreamed of paying 50 quid for a power supply that wasn't gold only a few short months ago. But the whole power supply market is completely foobar. What was I? Oh,
Umar,
side panels.
before you go to...
Let me put the side panels on. I'll be able to see the screen in a minute. That feels really nice and clean. That alcohol spray is a winner. That's actually a game changer.
Using that on your head tonight.
I will. I'm going to use it to lube my head.
Get rid of that.
Don't-
Like your red hair.
Don't try this at home, kids. Don't lube your head at home with alcohol spray. It's not a great idea.
The XT sync. I'd go on a rampage when my PC explodes.
To be honest with you, those GameMax power supplies, they do some crap ones, like the GP range aren't brilliant. They're not fire starters, they're not kind of CIT Builder Plus type level, or there was like a King Span or something. There's some bizarre ones out there. But to be fair, credit where credit's due, and it's not like I would say it just for the... I had this conversation actually with Dave yesterday. We were talking about GameMax, their PC case, like the F15, and some other companies like Ions, where I've done videos on them, and clearly from the views, they were getting quite a few hits from them. And actually GameMax himself turned around and said, like, thank you so much for doing the review on the F15. It's been like a really good seller for us. And I said to him, like, it's not me that's doing, I'm just looking at it. You're the ones who are making and pricing it. If you make a case which is good and it's at a good price, of course it's going to get views at some point. Maybe it's not seen by everybody, but that's the kind of way it works. And yeah, I said I wish I was on commission with the GameMax F15 from the amount that they actually sold of that unit. But it was a great case. And actually, probably, I would imagine, there's going to be... I'd imagine there's going to be a few of you in the chat or watching the videos that have a GameMax F15, and potentially that's how you found our channel, through that review, because it was one of those kind of breakthrough cases for the budget PC market and also for GameMax themselves. But GameMax is a massive, massive company in Taiwan and kind of more eastern areas. They sell stuff like everywhere. Really big company. But in the European and more so probably the American markets, GameMax are pretty much unheard of. I think it's because the way they work. They are one of those companies where they basically sell the rights to a region. So if you buy from GameMax UK, you're not necessarily buying from GameMax, the company, GameMax.com. It is effectively a different sub-company. Look at that.
Freedom House is off.
Cheers, Freedom House.
And Wellybot found you through the F15 video.
There you go.
And he loves this.
The F15 is awesome. Kath's still using it today. If there wasn't for the fact that we get sent cases for review, and every now and then I have to change out my stuff to test it, I would probably still use the F15, because the Lianli 215
So giving it
that
to
it's
me,
based
you're
on,
technically still keeping it.
yeah, that's what I wanted to keep it here in the house. And normally Kath gets like the PCs, I swap out stuff, but I think that one you've had now pretty much, well, what, 3 years at least?
Well, when you did that 215 on that.
Yeah. Getting hot now. Right, one more panel to do. Look at the state of that. Dirty, grubby bastard. Spray alcohol is a game changer.
You need to label that because you don't want to put that on the magnesium oil.
Yeah. I think someone said with this you're supposed to water it down a bit for cleaning glass and cases, but Alexa says that case needs a full custom loop. It struggles to put a 240 in there. It's the 400 series. I think that's 400. Yeah, the 400D or 400X or whatever they are. I feel they're very, very overhyped. Originally had a 200, was it a 220 or 200, one of the two, and that had even less room. But yeah, Corsair, I think in terms of a case, if you want a case which looks nice, then you can do a lot worse than go with a Corsair. But if you want a case that's got room, it's kind of like not overly flexible in that regard.
Bob used spray alcohol to train the cat when it was a kitten, soon got with the program. So how does that work? That means you won't go near there now because it stinks like that.
Don't think I've done a very good job on this actually.
Tip for alky spray, don't clean PC and dry.
Yeah.
Talking of drive-in, Georgia's just pulled up.
Right, I think this needed washing actually. Right, let's go back to the... Cool, blimey. That is pretty strong stuff. Where's the trigger spray? There we go. Alcohol spray is good for most things, but sometimes you just need that extra bit of cleaning power.
Williams on.
Andy Archer working on a Streacom DA6 while listening to you. Damn, they're fiddly. Yes, the Streacom DA6 is incredibly fiddly. Like,
The air was blue.
potentially one of the most annoying cases I've ever had to use, but amazingly flexible at the same time. Hello, George.
Hello.
It works.
Oh, good.
Although half of the fans are outside in the garden.
Oh, well.
It's streaming, so you know.
Yeah, I know. Thank you.
But it works. That's the main thing.
Would you like your new upgrade to your AIO?
Yeah, I put in that cooler while the AIO dries off.
Oh, yeah. That's fair enough.
Happy?
Yeah.
I put all your chocolate from the shopping this week in
That's
the
close
fridge.
enough. We've got to open it up again.
Got your biscuits. In a while.
This is also one of those PCs where, for some reason, it had this really annoying thing that when you'd close anything or anything, like if you went like that, tapped it, it would reboot or freeze. I don't understand what has done that. Again, it could be just the motherboard traces because it's so old that they're kind of wearing down. I'm not entirely sure, but there you go. I think that's pretty good. Oh, most of those marks are on the inside. Well, I'm not taking that out again.
Wipe on and wipe off with a clean cloth.
Well, I was kind of trying to do that, but you know me.
Yeah, I know you.
Right, I need to make some room to get rid of this thing. And we can have a look at the... I'm going to quickly do a very quick unboxing of my new graphics card, because I'm very, very excited to see that and to install it. Well, I'm not going to be installing it whilst streaming, because that's just very hard to do. Oh my goodness, there's the doorbell again. Under the sea. Under the sea. Oh. Right. There we go. Hello.
Hello.
Still streaming, so don't say anything bad or embarrassing. Oh. Under the sea. Thanks for that. Feel free to use the ice cream dispenser while I'm streaming. It's not very noisy at all. Oh. Unplug my mic. Oh, come on. No! Oh my goodness. That used to be an Intel i5. Right. It's got to be nearly time for tea. Right, let's have a look at the chat. I can actually see it now. Upgrade to GTX 3060. That 3060 I'm keeping as a reminder of how bad things were during the lockdowns and when the pandemic thing was happening, and all of our lives were kind of a bit screwed. Although for some people, not quite as screwed as others. There are a lot of people like streamers and stuff who actually kind of almost forged careers out of the lockdown situation. So some people actually came out of it on top. Right, let's get rid of that. Yeah, the GT 1030 I paid £90 for, I believe it was, and I ultimately regret it. But it serves as a very good reminder of how bad things could be. When people say, oh Mike, you can get a GTX 1070 for 100 quid these days. It's like, yes, that's now. Things haven't been like that for a long time. Stuart Cleary coming with a super chat. Thank you very much, sir. I can't even see my mouse. Oh, it's because I've got it plugged into the other computer still. I lose a lot of dongles that way. Under the sea. I can't wait till everything is USB-C. That's going to make life so much easier. Right, where are we? Oh. Camera, turn around. Don't look at Kath, she'll get upset. There we go. Stuart Cleary, there we go. €20. Just got home. I think I forgot to contribute on Saturday. There was a bit of a garden party at his. Yes, I saw. You were... Actually, I'm probably not going to say what you were doing. Necromania says, great job, Mike. Thank you. I'm not sure... yeah, I'm not sure if much has been done, really, apart from just simple cleaning. In a relatively methodical and weird way. With soapy water and a PC, who'd have thought it? Lester says, wow, the Mike house gets lots of visitors. No one comes to my house unless they need a PC repaired or upgraded. Well, we're still
paid people, like...
We're still waiting for Every to turn up, which is the new name for Hermes. The company so bad they've changed their name so many times. Yodel's been, hasn't it?
Yodel's been.
What's that, George? Do you want your PC?
Yeah.
You'll be alright. Do you want to carry it up for him, or you okay to carry it upstairs and plug it all back up?
In a minute.
All right.
I
I left all the wires at the back of your desk, so they're bundled together. So it should be all right. Sorry, everybody watching. Just having some family interaction here going on. This is live. This is completely live. This is our life. So what you see is what you get.
Mike 152 and block more numbers.
Mike 152, that's a great one. Mike 15263738849. Nice. Hi Mike, so glad I discovered your channel recently. Great content. Thank you. It's just me. I'm being myself. This is it. This is what I'm like most of the time when I'm not asleep or eating or hangry. In your opinion, what would you still build? Would you still build an AM4 based PC today? Yeah, definitely. If you can pick up something like the MSI B550 Gaming Plus for about £100, £110 brand new, put with that maybe a 5600, or if you can squeeze it in, a 5800, about £200. Stick on 32 gigs of RAM, which is really cheap these days, a 1TB M.2 drive, graphics card of your choice, and you've got a really kick-ass system for probably a good £200 cheaper than AM5 version. And AM5 potentially might be changing after the 8000 series, so we're not necessarily going to have that longevity. So I went AM5 purely because I'm in a position where I kind of needed to be, knowing what it was all about and how it works. If I was just a normal dude at home using my computer, there's no way on God's green earth I would have bought an AM5 system. Not a chance in hell. And I think the sales figures for AM5 itself kind of reflects that that is most people's thing. AM5 essentially at the moment is purely a bragging right. People don't want to be seen with the last gen stuff. There's always been that kind of mentality with certain groups on the internet that just because a socket is no longer mainstream or produced or whatever, that it's not got any value, or it's lost its relevance. Now the word relevance obviously means that something is relevant in society or in whatever context. I think AM4 has still got a long life ahead of it, and in fact there's still people using AM3 from what, 10-15 years ago.
And
so
saying
yeah,
I'm building a new AM4 system.
Yeah, I would definitely say that the AM4 has a long life ahead of it, and I would quite easily see that AM4 will be around for another 5 years, arguably. Possibly not at the same sort of discounts as getting now, but AM3, you can still buy AM3 processors and boards. Not cheaply, but you can still buy them, so yeah. Anyway, let's take a look at the graphics card. Shiny. Good stuff. Sorry, Ladios. I just bought a 5800X 3D chip for my MSI B550. I won't be upgrading for at least 4 years. They can release what they bloody like. That's true.
So what would happen if people just didn't buy the AM5?
If people just didn't buy the AM5...
Would it just stick to foreign?
No, because of...
Or is that a stupid question?
No, it's actually a relevant question, because we could actually turn around as a community or a body of users and turn around and say, no, we will not buy NVIDIA graphics cards that are expensive, or we won't buy AM5 and be needlessly forced down this upgrade path that we don't necessarily want to go. But unfortunately, it isn't as easy as voting with your wallet. It is to some extent, but because of the processors are ordered in advance, so because AMD don't make their own processors, they have them fabricated for them by third party, TSMC generally. So they've put in the processor orders months and months ago. So they're basically working in arrears. So even if it's turned around now and everyone said, right, we are never going to buy another AM5 processor, you'd get to the point where there won't be any AM4 processors either. Because
like the graphics card thing all over again.
Kind of, yeah. It's like AMD have put a certain amount of money in one basket for AM5 processors, being that is what is going to be current for the next 2 to 3 years. For the AM4 stuff, they've probably just getting RMA stock, possibly a few dribs and drabs. If there's silicon left over from a previous run, which can be used, or like a good example, the 5800X 3D, the ones which have failed or have not met the certain quality standards are now being rebadged as 5600s. As we spoke about this on the stream on Saturday. So there is always going to be the dribs and drabs of stock coming through, but they wouldn't have placed the scale of orders that they would have done previously. So if we turn around and said, no, we're not buying AM5, it's too expensive, it would put a lot of pressure on the AM4 pipeline, so prices would rise because of the market value. So you're kind of screwed whichever way you go, really. Your best bet, if you want to save money, is stay just slightly behind the curve. So because AM5 is kind of the new stuff, obviously AM4 stuff is going to be discounted. And if you only got to look at the difference between the B550 motherboards and the B650 motherboards, for mid-range boards, you're looking at somewhere in the region of about £100 difference between the two. Not really probably getting £200 worth of extra value out of it. Maybe you are, maybe you're not, but in general, it's going to be cheaper to go behind the curve.
Is it worth the money?
Anyway, is it worth the money, AM5? No, definitely not, because you can get very similar performance from AM4 for roughly the same money or slightly less. So it's like if you go for 7700X, which is going to cost you about £300, if you spent £300 on an AM4 processor, you'll probably get something which is going to be roughly the same speed. So it's kind of, you're moving a platform, the price doesn't necessarily change a great deal in terms of, like, normally if you bought a new processor for the same value as the previous generation, you should see a significant uplift in performance because it's a new generation. But they haven't done that for a long time. They've now made it so that you don't pay for the generational leap, you pay for the performance leap, regardless of what family or processor you go from. So if you want to upgrade AM4 from like a 3600 to a 5800, that's going to cost you roughly the same as the entry-level AM5, which would be similar performance. Anyway, I'm getting way too bogged down with that. Graphics card, Intel ASRock combination. This is the A770. Now this is actually a really good deal at the moment. The normal A750 from Intel, the special edition, or whatever they call it, the SE, normally in the UK at the moment about 250, sometimes 240, 230, but in general it's going to be about 250. I know in America it's come down quite considerably, but here it hasn't. If you're going to buy the A770, up until about a week ago, you would be paying an extra £100 for the privilege, so 350. Sometimes a little bit less, 325. Rarely you get a 300, but this has actually dropped down on eBuyer, as I said earlier in the stream, to the same price basically. So I've returned my ARC A750 Intel version to Amazon for refund. That cost me $250. This cost me $250. So I've got basically an upgrade and arguably a slightly easier to upgrade CPU cooler and hopefully better performance. Although I don't think there's going to be a massive difference between the A750 or the A770. At least it doesn't appear to be on paper. So 7nm process, or Intel 7 process, whatever they call it now, got XeSS sampling, super sampling, whatever you want to call it, DirectX 12 Ultimate polychrome sync, so a bit of RGB on there, which is something actually which was missing from the Intel card. At least the A750, the A770 had some in there. Yep, 8GB card. Is there anything exciting on the back? No, not particularly. Let's take a look, see what it's all about. First time for seeing this. I've not had, I don't think I've ever owned an ASRock graphics card. This is a first. I must say the box isn't quite as impressive as the Intel one. That was quite a special experience. Sorry, can you open that window? Angel's been spraying some shit. It's getting right down my throat. It's worse than alcohol spray. Oh, nearly spilled the tea.
Soul says AM4 is definitely worth it, especially with the good deals.
Yeah, if you can find a deal,
Salt
yeah.
so well.
It's also going to be depending where you live.
I can't wait to upgrade to a 5800X 3D.
So what do we got here? So important notice, blah blah blah, something in Chinese. To ensure this graphics card can work properly, please read the quick start guide. Okay, whatever. Another quick start guide. It's actually bigger than I thought. Is there any other accessories in here, or is that it? Right? Not even a graphics card 8-pin to Molex adapter.
Clear the text. Sorry, Welly Bob.
Sorry. It's a nice big bag. Jesus. Now, when you actually buy one of these, I don't think you really kind of grasp actually how big this thing is. This is a big sucker. Jeepers. It's actually relatively small fans on there, but bloody hell. And I've just noticed something very cool. There does appear to be, there is a BIOS switch. So I'm guessing that's high and low speed for the fans, or maybe it's for RGB lighting. But actually tucked up inside here, there is what can only be considered a 3-pin addressable RGB header. Now something I was considered, because this has got RGB lighting down there, and the fans as well. And I was thinking, I don't want to have to install not Armory Crate, what's the ASRock version? Polychrome sync. I didn't want to install that on my system.
That sounds like something you'd fill holes in the wall with.
Yeah. So it looks like you can actually plug in to the RGB to control it. So if you've got an existing controller on your motherboard or your case, you can just plug it into there and transfer it. I'm guessing that's what that's for. And I'm assuming the switch next to it would be to either turn on or turn off that feature. But that is a nice looking card. It's a little bit gamery. Let's do the peel. This really is becoming ASMR. Good job. There you go.
Ruined.
Ruined by a dipstick. Oh, let's do the back plate. Back plate peel. Good peel.
Dora hates brown parcel tape peel.
Leave that in there in case I have to send it back. So that's a pretty beefy cooler. So it takes 2 8-pin connectors. That's absolutely fine. Yeah, this is a pretty darn cool card. And it looks like you have to undo a million screws to actually take it apart. Or at least if you want to take the back plate off. But arguably better than the Intel version. Some nice fans on there. Guess they're all going to spin the same direction, so then that offset fan thing. There's your RGB in there. Has that got a... No, it hasn't got a cover on it. An Intel Arc logo. Happy days. I'm actually going to check to see if that is right about the RGB, because that is actually one thing which I was pretty concerned about.
Stuart Clary missed most of the stream. What GPU is that, Mike?
This is a Intel ASRock A770 8GB, which unfortunately is only 8GB.
Here's what I found.
Didn't find anything.
Right, plug that in, yeah, whatever.
What's everyone's thoughts on CCleaner? Worth it in 2023 or not?
It's quite handy for getting rid of unwanted files, I suppose. I would probably use it then uninstall it. It is a little bit nagware-ish. It doesn't say anything about the RGB in here. It's got all the languages under the sun, but it doesn't have anything about that. So that's something which does bother me actually these days about manuals. That they're kind of useless. Anyway, I think that looks pretty cool.
Won't you ever read the manual anyway?
I know, but it's it's not surprising that YouTube actually has such a big following these days, because you get stuff like this and it's like, okay, so what does that switch do? Is it a BIOS switch? Can I flash a BIOS onto it? Can I upgrade the performance? Can I connect up a addressable RGB to that header? All the sort of questions that people are going to ask. And yeah.
So that's not how much research you have to do before doing a video.
Actually, that's got pins, male pins. So that'll be the same as a motherboard. So possibly you can daisy chain from this. Be interesting to see how that works. Yeah, because normally the male pins would be what you have on a motherboard. So they'll come from a controller. So potentially that is either going to need an adapter to go from female to female, which is quite unusual. Yeah, normally you have an extension rather than female to female, and they've not included a cable. So that is going to be something which I'm going to have to investigate. Yes, overall not too bad. I'm not too sure about the red accents there and the crazy colours, but I suppose when it's lit up like a Christmas tree, it's going to be fine. It's not that heavy either. I was expecting it to be really heavy considering how big it is. I would say it's probably lighter than the GTX 1080.
What, the Georges?
Yeah.
That's quite heavy.
Quite dense. Anyway, happy days. So, I think, actually, I did read somewhere that it had 2 HDMI outputs,
Very big hinks.
which it hasn't. There is a big heatsink and it does overlap. This is going to look quite nice. I think I'm going to put this in my case. I'm going to have it vertically mounted, like my 6900 XT was, which is still being repaired. Apparently they received it today, so you never know. I'm hoping the 6900 XT, they say that we can't get any more stock and they send me something of an equivalent value, which would be quite nice. Because I think originally it cost like 1,200 quid or 1,100 quid. 1150 I think it might have been. Look at that backplate. Yeah, it's quite a nice looking backplate. So you've got the blow through as well, which is becoming more and more common. PCB ends about there, where the power connectors are. So in theory, you could probably have a dual cooler version quite easily. But ASRock being ASRock have gone overboard.
6900 XT, hashtag blame Dave.
Hashtag blame Dave. Right. I think
Any more questions before you
yeah, any more quick questions before we wrap this up? Otherwise, I think we were going to call it a day, because I've actually got videos I need to edit and work on. And
I'm waiting for that to come.
and I've been waiting for this to arrive so I can actually get on and do some editing. I've actually swapped out that graphics card in there, the GeForce RTX 3060 Ti. That card has been in and out of that PC, into my PC, in that one. So I had to put it in there for Saturday for streaming. Then I had to put it back in there for doing some work, and then put it back in there for today for streaming. And it's only, what day is it?
Tuesday.
Tuesday.
And
And
your
it-
PC's in bits of waiting.
Yeah, my PC is down there in, yeah,
But it saved a
basically
£40 leggy.
bits. Pitboy says, what cooler would you say is the best to use, AIO, etc.? To be honest with you, I would, well, judging by today and what's happened, it's clear to see the benefits of having air cooling. It's a lot easier to manage and to look after.
But then would the damage have been worse if it didn't have it blocking off the top? With a big P on the end.
Arguably that potentially is, yeah, something which you could say that, yeah, because it had that thing there, that has actually prevented more damage than it might have otherwise done. But the thing is, the point of an AIO and the fans are the fact that air flows through it. So in theory, fluid should as well, given if they've got enough gravity or density to the fluid or quantity. So I don't know. Air cooling is definitely cheaper, and modern air coolers are within a stone's throw of performance for the majority of processors on the market. It's only when you start going up to the higher core counts and higher threads and higher frequencies, X-class processors, K-series processors, overclocked, etc. That's when temperatures, especially like that thing behind, it's a 360 AIO on a 7700X, and just idling, it's probably at the moment about 40-45 degrees. Well, with the stream running. every now and then it will do an update, a Windows update, which kills or really hammers one thread, and it's like, bloody hell, the room's taken off. So it is annoying, but it would be a lot worse if it was an air cooler, because air coolers saturate heat much, much quicker, whereas water obviously holds heat and can absorb heat slower, so you get to your kind of thermal maximum a lot sooner with an air cooler than you do from a water cooler. Hopefully that makes sense. Mookie, is that a A770 graphics limited edition card? It is an A770, but it's not a limited edition. It's just the Boggo standard. Well, not Bog standard.
I think mine's the ASRock triple fan version.
It's the ASRock triple fan A770. Don't think it's a specific version. £250, A770. They do appear to do really well in video editing, which obviously doing a lot of video editing is something which is quite important to me. And they've actually increased the driver for Dead Island 2, which I'm playing a lot of at the moment. That works really well on this card apparently. And from what I can see from the A750, the A750 was a little bit slower in Dead Island 2 than the 6900 XT, which was weird. And it actually felt smoother. Putting the 3060 Ti back in the machine, it felt really sluggish compared with this A750, which I wasn't expecting at all. And Premiere actually felt sluggish as well, which surprised me. Which is why I've given Intel another shout, and hopefully it works out well. So, I think that's going to wrap things up. Hopefully you've enjoyed the stream. If you have, smash the like button if you haven't done so already. And yeah, I'm going to go and get some food because I'm absolutely starving and it's getting rather warm. The sun is now going over to the back of the house. It's getting pretty warm. So I'm going to go and install this, get some stuff done, make some content, and hopefully we'll see you all in the next video. If you haven't checked out today's video, do so, especially if you're a Gigabyte owner. It's probably going to be beneficial to you. I think that's going to wrap things up. I've been Mike. This is Mike's Unboxing, Reviews and How To, and hopefully we'll catch you in the very next video. Thanks for cleaning with me. I've got to find this stop button. Thanks everyone. Cheerio. Bye. Oh, that's the wrong. I pressed